Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. It started on the highway long past midnight when the world was asleep and the road stretched out like a black ribbon under the moonlight. I had been at my friend's place, staying later than I meant to, and now it was just me, my car, and the hum of the tires against the pavement. The highway was mostly empty, the occasional truck rumbling by, headlights cutting through the dark like searchlights. I wasn't tired, not really, but I kept the radio low, just enough to break the silence. I'd driven this route 100 times before, but that night, something felt different. Maybe it was the way the streetlights flickered, or maybe it was the feeling creeping up the back of my neck, like I wasn't alone. Then I saw it, a white van, far back at first, just another pair of headlights in the rearview mirror. I didn't think much of it at first. There was nothing special about it, just an old cargo van, the kind contractors use, the kind that doesn't have windows in the back, the kind where you could put someone inside and no one would ever hear them scream. I shook off the thought, just another car on the road, nothing to be paranoid about. But then I noticed something strange. The van wasn't passing me. It wasn't falling behind either. It just stayed there, hovering at a distance. I changed lanes. It did too. I slowed down slightly. It matched my speed. That was when I started to feel it. That deep, instinctive fear, the one that tightens your chest and makes your hands grip the wheel a little too hard. I told myself I was being stupid. Maybe the driver was just going the same way. Coincidences happen, right? So I tested it. I took the next exit. The van followed. I turned onto a side street. The van followed. I pulled into a gas station, heart thudding, and watched as the van rolled past me, slow, almost leisurely, like they wanted me to see them. I let out a breath, laughing nervously to myself. Maybe they weren't following me after all. Maybe I was just imagining things. I waited a few minutes, then pulled back onto the road, telling myself to calm down. The night was quiet again, nothing but the soft glow of streetlights and the dark shapes of trees lining the road. And then I saw it, the van, ahead of me this time, parked on a shoulder, engine off, just sitting there like it was waiting. I didn't slow down. I didn't look. I just kept driving. A mile passed. Then two. I told myself it was over. Then, in my rearview mirror, headlights flared to life. The van was back, and this time it was gaining on me. I pressed the gas pedal down, my heart hammering. The van kept pace, not tailgating, not trying to pass, just sticking to me like a shadow. I took another turn. So did the van. Another. The van stayed right there. At the next red light, I saw the driver's side door creak open, just a sliver, just enough for me to see a shadowy figure start to emerge. I didn't wait. I ran the red light, tires screeching, my hands locked on the wheel so tightly they ached. The van sped up. I weaved through the streets, taking random turns, my breath coming in shallow gasps. And then nothing. No headlights behind me. No van. I drove for another mile before pulling onto a quiet street, my hands still shaking. I sat there, trying to breathe, trying to convince myself that it was over. And then I saw it, at the end of the block, parked, engine off, the same white van. No headlights, no movement, just sitting there, watching. I didn't go home that night. I drove straight to a police station and parked in the lot, locking my doors, my heart still pounding in my chest. I sat there until the sky turned gray with morning light. When I finally worked up the courage to leave, I checked every mirror, every street, every alley. The van was gone. I never saw it again. But to this day, I still check my mirrors more than I probably should. Story 2. I was heading home late from work like I always did, taking the back roads. I preferred them over the main highway. Less traffic, less noise. Just me, my thoughts, and the soft hum of my car cutting through the stillness. But that night, the silence felt different. Heavier, like the air itself was pressing down on me. It started with a feeling, that weird sensation you get when you think someone's watching you. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and for no reason at all, my fingers clenched the steering wheel tighter. I tried to shake it off. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe my brain was playing tricks on me. Then up ahead I saw him. A man, standing in the middle of the road. My stomach dropped. He wasn't walking, wasn't crossing, just standing there, perfectly still. I hit the brakes, my tires screeching against the pavement. My heartbeat pounded in my ears as I gripped the wheel, staring at him. He was tall, wearing a tattered hoodie and faded jeans. His face was hidden in the shadow of his hood, but the way he stood, arms hanging limp at his sides, head tilted slightly like he was listening for something, it sent a deep, primal fear curling inside me. I honked. He didn't move. A cold sweat broke out on my skin. I checked my mirrors. Nothing behind me. Just the empty road stretching into the darkness. I cracked my window slightly, just enough to call out, "Hey, you okay?" Silence. The man didn't even twitch. Something about him felt wrong. Not just weird, wrong. Like he didn't belong there. Like he wasn't supposed to exist in that space at that moment. My gut twisted, warning me. I swallowed hard and shifted into reverse. I wasn't about to sit there and wait for something bad to happen. I'd back up, turn around, take another way home. That's when he moved. Not a normal movement. Not like someone stepping aside or waving me down. His body jerked, his limbs snapping into motion like a puppet with tangled strings. Then he ran at me. Not a normal run. His legs moved too fast, too erratic, like something was propelling him forward. His arms flailed at his sides, and though I couldn't see his face, I felt his eyes locked on me. My body reacted before my brain did. I slammed the gas, tires squealing as I swerved around him. I barely missed his outstretched arms. For a split second, I thought I felt his fingers graze the side of my car, but I didn't stop to check. I just kept driving, my breath coming in ragged, uneven gasps. After a few miles, I finally glanced in the rearview mirror. He was gone. Not on the road. Not in the distance. Just gone. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying it in my head, over and over. The way he stood there. The way he moved. The impossible speed of his sprint. It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. The next morning, I checked the news expecting to hear something. An accident, a missing person, something. But there was nothing. No reports. No witnesses. No reason for him to have been there. I tried to push it out of my mind. Maybe it was just some messed up prank. Maybe I imagined it. But a week later, something happened. I was at work, grabbing a coffee, when I overheard a coworker talking. "Yeah, man, Freaked me the hell out. I was driving home late, took the back road, same one I always take, and there was this guy just standing there in the middle of the street. I froze. My heart clenched in my chest. My coworker laughed nervously. I honked, but he didn't move. Looked like he was listening for something. Freaking weird, right? I forced myself to turn around. What did you do? He shrugged, drove around him, didn't think much of it. But when I checked my mirror, he hesitated, his face paling slightly. He was gone. A cold chill wrapped around me. I never took that road again, and I pray I never see him again. Story 3. I was 6 hours into my drive, and the night had settled thick and heavy over the empty highway. The road stretched ahead, an endless ribbon of cracked asphalt and faded yellow lines. My eyes burned from the glow of my dashboard, and I kept the radio off. The silence felt safer, somehow. I was supposed to reach home by sunrise, but I had made a mistake. A stupid one. I hadn't checked my gas gauge. The little orange light had been on for the past 20 miles, blinking at me like a heartbeat. I should have stopped earlier, but every exit I passed had been swallowed in darkness. No towns, no signs of life, just skeletal trees and the occasional roadkill illuminated in flashes by my high beams. Then, finally I saw it. A gas station. It appeared out of nowhere, just beyond a cluster of dead trees. A single pump stood beneath a flickering overhead light, casting long, jittering shadows across the cracked pavement. The small building next to it had bars on the windows and a peeling sign above the door that simply said gas. A neon open sign buzzed faintly in the glass, but the place looked like it had been abandoned for years. I pulled in, gravel crunching under my tires, and killed the engine. That's when I saw her. At first, I thought she was a mannequin. Something about the way she stood, perfectly still at the very edge of the lot where the darkness met the light. She was facing me, her body half hidden in the shadows, but I could make out enough to know something was wrong. She was barefoot. Her dress was pale, maybe white once, but now stained with something dark, something that spread in irregular patterns like spilled ink. Her hair hung in loose, messy strand around her face, and though I couldn't see her eyes clearly, I knew she was watching me. A wave of unease rolled through my chest, but I forced myself to move. I just needed gas. 5 minutes, and I'd be gone. I stepped out and slid my credit card into the reader. My hands felt stiff, clumsy. The gas pump beeped, and as I lifted the nozzle, I glanced back toward the woman. She had moved. She was closer now. Not much, but enough to notice. Her feet were just at the edge of the light, and I could see more of her face. Pale, almost gray, with lips that looked too dark against her skin. She wasn't blinking. I swallowed hard and turned back to the pump, trying to ignore the way the hairs on my arms stood on end. I don't know why I didn't just leave. The gas pumped slow, the numbers crawling up at an agonizing pace. I tapped my fingers against the car door, eyes flicking to the side mirror. She was still there. And then she moved again. One step, then another. Her bare feet made no sound against the pavement, and something about the way she walked wasn't right. Her shoulders barely moved, her head tilting slightly, like she was listening for something. The gas pump clicked off. I nearly jumped at the sound. My hands were shaking as I shoved the nozzle back into place, and yanked my receipt from the slot. I turned to get into my car, and she was right behind me. I choked on a breath, stumbling backward against the car door. Up close, she was worse. Her skin had the color of something long submerged in water, stretched too thin over sharp cheekbones. Her lips parted slightly, and I saw her teeth, small, jagged, stained red at the edges. "Do you need help?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She didn't answer. She only tilted her head, a slow, unnatural movement. And then she spoke. "You took too long." Her voice was dry, papery. Not a whisper, not a growl. Just wrong. My entire body locked up. My brain screamed at me to run, but I couldn't. I could only stare at her, at the way her lips twitched like she was struggling to form another word. I don't know how long I stood there. Then, from inside the station, a light snapped on. A shadow moved behind the barred window, and I heard the creak of a door opening. A voice, rough, annoyed, called out, "Hey, what the hell are you doing out there?" I blinked. The woman was gone, not walking away, not fading into the shadows, just gone. I spun in circles, my breath ragged, but the lot was empty. The night swallowed her whole. The man from inside the station stepped out, rubbing his eyes like he had just woken up. He frowned at me. "You all right?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I got in my car, locked the doors, and started the engine with shaking hands. As I pulled onto the highway, I glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see her standing there. There was nothing, just that broken station, fading into the dark. I drove straight home that night, doors locked, my pulse refusing to slow. I never stopped at gas stations in the middle of the night again.